Hello and welcome to Rando Rob. Each week on Rando Rob, I'll be showing and discussing one item from my large collection of collections. New shows appear every Monday, and throughout the week, I'll be adding older episodes of Rando Rob that were previously only available to my Patreon subscribers. You can watch episodes of Rando Rob on YouTube at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. Just look for the Rando Rob playlist. Audio versions of the show are available on my website at podcast.robohara.com or through iTunes. Just search for Rando Rob. Thanks for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy this vintage episode of Rando Rob. So, anyway, what my point was is that now when I think about Christmas and I get excited about Christmas, it's of course it's about my family and my kids and all that stuff. But when I see things like Christmas decorations, like new decorations, like we just went to a Christmas light show, and there were brand new LEDs that were all syncopated to music, and it doesn't excite me. I mean, it is what it is, and I go, that's a technical achievement or whatever, but it doesn't excite me. But what excites me are things that remind me of my Christmas as a child. So I have these plates. This is not the item I'm going to show you. I have the item right here next to me. I have these plates that I got, and this is what you just heard that my wife made me a sandwich for lunch, and that sound is, this is gross. These chips that I had with my sandwich are stuck on the plate. But this is the plate that I had the sandwich served on. This is a pretty vintage. I'm trying to see if I can see a date on here. I don't see a date. They're plastic, but I picked up a set of these, a set of 4 of these, and I'm pretty sure these are from the early 80s, maybe mid 80s, but I'll have to look and see if I can see. It says not a toy, as if you would buy this plate and kids would hit each other in the head, and you'd be like, dang it, I said it wasn't a toy. Yeah, I don't see a year written on here, but it shouldn't be that hard to figure out. But, it's those sorts of things that make me happy around the holidays. It's plates that remind me of the McDonald's from the 80s, 70s, and 80s. It's retro decorations. It's retro toys. It's that kind of stuff. That really make me nostalgic and miss Christmas of my youth, And so anyway, I'm going to show you a Christmas present that I got from my wife a couple of years ago. And after that, I'm going to show you a few pictures of some Star Wars things that I got for Christmas as a child. So, excuse me. This is the item that I wanted to share with you. This is Yoda. You may recognize Yoda. This is not Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. This is Old Man Yoda from the classic films Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But more importantly, if you look at his arms, you'll see there's these straps attached to his arms, and they are attached to his feet as well. There's one on each side because this is not just Yoda, this is a backpack. And so you may recall the scene from Empire Strikes Back where Luke is training on Dagobah and Yoda is hanging onto his back. And this backpack is designed to look exactly like that scene. So you can throw these straps, one over each arm. Here in the back is a zipper, and this unzips. I'm not going to say you can put a lot of stuff in this backpack. Let's not be crazy. But it does open up here, and there is storage area. It goes down pretty deep, actually, to be honest with you. And you could definitely put a couple cans of soda in here. You probably could not put a 2-liter of soda in Yoda. He would not appreciate that. But also, if you'll notice, if I point him straight ahead, his head is kind of cocked into the side, and that is so when he is on your back, you kind of get this appearance. So he will look like this, and he'll be looking over your shoulder. Actually, he's a little bit more upright when you have it. It kind of looks like this. But you have the Yoda from Dagobah backpack. And I have worn that backpack to work exactly once. And let me tell you, I work with a bunch of older, serious government employees. And I don't think necessarily they appreciate me coming into work with a Yoda backpack. I don't think they like it when I get looks sometimes when I use my vintage lunch boxes and bring things into, I used to use my vintage lunch boxes occasionally and bring my lunch to work. So it is what it is. It doesn't bother me. It does a little bit, but the reality is there was me and two employees ran the entire data center for years. So all those people, even if they gave me a little snide look in the cafeteria or in the parking lot, if they wanted to access the internet or anything on a file server in that building, it was coming to our room. So we handled our business just fine, whether or not we had silly lunchboxes or Yoda backpacks. So anyway, this picture that I have over here to the side, that is a picture of me Christmas morning, 1978. And I have this picture along with several others. I think I have 5 pictures and all queued up. So let's go over to the slideshow here. And I will make this slightly bigger. Now, as many of you know, or you may or may not know, Star Wars, the first Star Wars came out in 1977, but there were no Star Wars action figures available in the Christmas of 1977. It's a very famous fact that Kenner was stuck behind the 8 ball. They did not anticipate the success of the film, and so they were ramping up production, and they had promised figures, but the figures were not ready, and so that was when you got the early bird, which is a piece of cardboard that said, buy this now and you'll be able to trade it in and get the figures next year. So a lot of people will incorrectly, their memory will say, oh, yeah, I got all that stuff in the first year, 1977, but they didn't. The toys were not available. But the following Christmas, 1978, was the first year that things were available. I mean, they were available before Christmas, but I think anybody that remembers getting Star Wars toys that says that it's 1977, what they probably mean is that it was 1978. And so here's a picture of me, and I do remember that this picture was taken Christmas morning of 1978, which would make me 5 years old. To the left, and I got all this stuff Christmas morning. This is of course, the original vintage TIE Fighter. The Darth Vader TIE Fighter was not out yet. It came out the following year, I believe. But this is the original TIE Fighter, and you can see Darth Vader set up here. Right next, we have the Land Speeder, and it looks like we've got Princess Leia driving the Land Speeder. And then over here, we have the X-Wing Fighter, and we've got Han Solo, and I can see R2-D2 and C-3PO, and Luke Skywalker, and then over here by himself, we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't see a Stormtrooper in this picture, but I'm sure I got the Stormtrooper the same time. I just don't know why he's not in this picture, but I did get 8 figures the first year for Christmas. So I had 8 figures and 3 ships. So somewhere... maybe it's behind something, or I just don't know what happened to him. But, oh my gosh, you know what? I have one other picture that I wanted to show, and I'm going to add it to the slideshow really quick. Let me see if I can find it. Whoop-doop-doo. It's in a different folder, that's why it doesn't show up here. But, well, I may have to do something on the fly. I don't want to hold up the show for it. So that would be anyway. Those are all the Star Wars things that I got. Let's try. Let's see if I can find this real quick on the fly. Okay, here we go. There it is. All right, well, this is dead air. I'm sorry about this. Star Wars. I have literally, we could do a show where I do pictures relating to Star Wars that would go for hours of things I've seen, of things I've visited. There we go. Okay, we'll see if this, if the slideshow picks it up. If not, we'll open it separately. But this is on Christmas 1978. Let's go to picture number 2. This is shortly after Christmas, and it wouldn't be that same year. This would have been probably the next year. And this is the Imperial Troop Transport. The Imperial Troop Transport is its notoriety comes from, or it is notorious because this is a vehicle that was not in the movie. This was the first playset or vehicle that Kenner made. They had already, done a Millennium Falcon. They had already done an X-wing fighter and a TIE fighter and a land speeder, and they were out of things to make, but people were still just clamoring for Star Wars toys, and so they made this troop transport, and it came with a little comic book where it basically, in the original Star Wars, when Luke and Ben and the droids go back to the Skywalker farm, and they see that Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru have been destroyed. And anyway, it kind of ties all that part of the story in, and it shows the stormtroopers going around Tatooine in the Imperial Troop Transport. So you can see I've got Chewbacca hanging out here. I'm not really sure who else. This picture is a little grainy, but these open up. And I actually have 2 of these. I have this one, and this is the original. So the original, you can see it has these little tiny red buttons on here. And if you pressed them, it played a very tiny little record player, and it would play sound effects and little segments from the movie, little quotes and things. And there were 6 buttons. They re-released this toy without any of those electronics built in. And so I have my original one. This is the one that when I have my toys out, I have this on display and everything. But I have a second one, which is the cheaper one that doesn't have all that, and I use it as a pencil holder on my desk. So it's full of pens and markers and pencils. And I got that at a garage sale at some point. So, yeah, this is me. This is actually, that's a swing in my front yard that my dad built. He built that porch swing. And this is me hanging out with the Imperial Troop Transport. Now, I don't really remember that shirt that I'm wearing, but the next picture, I'm wearing the exact same shirt, and I believe it was taken the exact same day. Because, I just don't remember wearing that shirt that often. This is inside my bedroom, and this is more Star Wars goodness here. Now, you can see, first of all, here's the Imperial Troop Transport. The door's open. You can see a stormtrooper in there, and I think that might be either C-3PO or a Death Star droid. I can't really tell. We've got, this looks like Bespin Luke, so that kind of dates this. This is the AT-AT, the Hoth playset. So this is cardboard, and then there was a plastic base. The cardboard is long gone, but I do still have this plastic base. And you can see some other, there's Darth Vader, and there's Hoth, Han Solo, and there's an X-Wing fighter, Luke, and a few other guys sitting around in that picture. Also, in this picture, the thing that I like is that you can see that I have the Empire Strikes Back pillowcase, which is what this is right here. So I was all Star Wars as a kid. I mean, I could not get enough Star Wars. I wanted every figure. I wanted every play set. And but this again, this I don't think I still have that pillowcase. I did have it at one point. But this Imperial Troop Transport I still have. I mean, this exact one I have. This Hoth, the base part, the cardboard got torn up, but the base I still have. And all these figures I still have. They don't look quite as good as they appear in this picture. But you know, I was never one to tear up my figures or anything like that. They all, when I was done playing, they all got put in their little cases and put back inside. This is obviously not a Christmas photo. This is a birthday photo. And I think I've done the math. Let me look here again. That appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles. So I would have turned 9 in 1982. So this would have been August of 1982. That sounds about right. We have these this mini mig, which is a cool. This was another thing they started selling. That was these things were not in the movies. They were little one-man vehicles, and there was 3 or 4 different ones of the mini migs. I think I still have this one, and I may have picked up a couple other ones along the way. And here we have the twin pod cloud car pilot. And I remember I have a very specific memory while my mom was cutting this cake of taking this figure off and trying to get all the chocolate out of the hole in the bottom of his foot, because you know Star Wars figures had a hole in the bottom so that they could stand on pegs on the play sets and stuff. And so I remember, maybe irritated is not quite the right word, but I do remember wishing that this figure had not been stuck down in chocolate icing. I probably ended up washing him off in probably in a sink or something. But I do remember licking this guy's boots and trying to get all the chocolate out of that action figure. So, you know, I have a pretty hard stop between right around the time Return of the Jedi came out. You know, that's when I turned 10. That's when we got the Apple II. Of course, I was still playing Atari stuff, but my toys changed, you know, around 1983. And so I had I mean, not everything, but I had the vast majority of all the Kenner toys that were released for Star Wars. I had the vast majority of toys that were released for Empire Strikes Back, and not that much of what came out for Return of the Jedi. You know, I was still getting figures. You know, I remember, you know, of course, the figures were always something that you would pick up. But as far as like the play sets, like I never had a B-wing or an A-wing. I didn't originally have Jabba's palace. I just, for some reason, you know, that was kind of the age break right there around 10 where I started getting other stuff for Christmas. So this would have been obviously based on the toys. This is before Return of the Jedi. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is a Polaroid scan of a Polaroid. You can see how we see the lines. And let me blow this up. But this is the toy box that my dad built for me when I was a kid. And I'll pull this down here. I can name most of the things in this picture, I think. This is that Snow Walker, the AT-AT playset. This is the other Hoth playset. There's an X-Wing fighter. This is I believe it's called a Draconian Marauder from Buck Rogers. I still have this. It's out in my garage. I just saw it the other day. And there were a lot of other toys that were the same scale as Star Wars toys. And so, you know, people didn't know what else to get you. They got you something else, and that's what this is. On the first actual shelf here, you can see there's a Tauntaun here. Now, this is a speedboat from Fisher-Price Adventure People. And I had a lot of Fisher-Price Adventure People, and not very much of it survived into my adulthood, but I have replaced most of it. I have a fairly large collection also of Fisher Price Adventure People. Let's see what else. Here's the TIE Fighter. This is the adventure van from the Adventure People. This is the green camping van. There's obviously the slave one, and there is a snow speeder. On the next shelf, this is the third Hoth playset. This is the turret playset that came with the Probot. This is the Adventure Price or Fisher Price Adventure People, the space shuttle, basically. You have the space shuttle and the little escape thing here, and here's a twin pod cloud car, and there, of course, is my Imperial troop transport. And then down here at the bottom, there's some cool stuff here. You've got my AT-AT. Here in front is a 12-inch Darth Vader. And I think I've played with the brightness. I had a 12-inch Boba Fett. And then we had a Luke and a Leia. But I kind of feel like they got torn up pretty early on. This is a X-Wing fighter that I inherited from a neighbor kid who broke off 2 of the wings. And so it only had 2 wings, and I used to pretend it was a Y-Wing, even though a Y-Wing doesn't really look anything like that. But I decided if it couldn't be an X-Wing, it would be a Y-Wing. I think maybe, it looks kind of like Boba Fett's jetpack maybe there. Oh, yeah, there's Boba Fett right there. Man, it's hard to see in this picture. But here I've got all my figures lined up just like it's a photo shoot. They're sitting down and all propped up. This was a paint by numbers kit that I got that I never painted. I just left it white. It's a Tauntaun with Han Solo on the back. I never painted it. There's some of the Fisher Price figures you can see here. There's the Adventure Van guy. These are the astronauts for the space shuttle thing. This is the kayak that goes on top of the van. And then there's my Millennium Falcon. Now, my Millennium Falcon, I will tell you a story real quick. I used to have it up here. And a kid came over and tried to reach up and grab it, and it took a nosedive like that and hit the ground nose first. And so you can see that the gun is missing off the top turret here. It looks like the radar dish is still there. And this piece that's on the front of the cockpit was broken off. And eventually it went into the trash because so much had broken when it fell, and I was not happy about that. I've thought about replacing this. I don't have a vintage Millennium Falcon. I have the newer one that's a slightly larger scale. I would like to have another one of these one day, but I mean, loose ones are $100, and I'm not going to pay that. Not for something that's just going to sit on a shelf or sit out in the garage. So, but anyway, I was in Boy Scouts for a brief period of time, and we did for one summer, and probably only 2 months of that summer. And one of the things we were doing was we did a little thing about collections, and you were supposed to bring your collection to Boy Scouts. And one kid brought a bunch of rocks he had done or found, and one kid brought something else. I don't remember, but this was the only thing I collected was Star Wars stuff, and it was way too much to bring down there. And so my dad took this picture, and he said, "Take this down there, and that's your collection." So that's why he took this picture, so I would have a picture of my Star Wars collection that I could take down to the Boy Scouts meeting. Let's see what else we have here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it didn't pick up the last picture, so let me go over here and I'll just manually open up this last picture because this one's pretty cool too. And it just opened in the wrong app in the wrong window. I'll tell you what, this OBS, just when I start getting good at it, then I get bad at it. So in February of 1982, it snowed. It snowed actually probably the day before. And the following morning, I woke up, and as kids did back then, I grabbed my Star Wars stuff to go out and play in the snow. I grabbed my AT-AT, and I grabbed some of my figures, a snow troopers and maybe a stormtrooper and my AT-AT driver. Those were all bad guys that were on Hoth, and so I went out in the snow. And while I was playing, my neighbor came out with his AT-AT, and so he came over, and so we were kind of playing. And my dad came outside with his camera. He said, "Well, set him up, and I'll take a picture." And so this is that picture. This is from, I believe it's Valentine's Day 1982. And we had set up our AT-ATs. And so my AT-AT, I seem to recall mine was here on the left. His was on the right. But this is in the ditch in my front yard. We had set up the AT-ATs, and we put all our figures, stood them all up. Now, there's a very, very funny story with this that goes with this picture. And it's after my dad took the picture and he went in the house, we went to pick up our stuff. And one of my guys, the AT-AT driver, was laying in the snow. And I thought we had set all of our guys up, But if you can see down here at the bottom, as my dad was taking the picture, the AT-AT driver was falling over. So there's this guy right here that's kind of leaning at this weird angle. He is actually falling over as my dad took the picture. So, it's like beforehand, I knew I'd set him up, and after he had fallen over, but I didn't really know when he had fallen over. Somehow, though, he fell over as my dad was taking the picture, which is a really weird coincidence. But, and of course, one that we didn't get solved for a month, And I mean, my dad had to finish up taking a roll of pictures, and then get them developed, and then you got them all back, and there you go. But it always kind of made me laugh that somehow he captured the exact moment that the old AT-AT driver there had fallen over. So, when all this Star Wars stuff that I have, and again, I at the old house, I had a room with all my Star Wars stuff out on display. It was so much stuff, and that's really just not practical to display that much stuff. So I've got to whittle down my collection a little bit and figure out, exactly what I'm going to display. But the stuff that I love about Star Wars is this stuff. I love my original X-Wing fighter. I love my original TIE fighter. I love the stuff that makes me nostalgic, not just for Star Wars as a kid, but, those memories that when I set up a display and I put that twin pod cloud car pilot, I swear he still smells like chocolate a little bit, When I put these out, I don't think about, I mean, I do think about the toys and the movies and all that, but I think about the Christmas, then I got them all, And so, I will add, as I post this, I will add a link to a video. It's a video I posted a long time ago on YouTube, and it's a quick cut of all the Star Wars things that I got from Christmases, me opening and playing with those things. And it's not super exciting. You're not really missing anything if you don't watch it. But if you're curious to see a kid get excited about getting a Millennium Falcon or an X-Wing fighter or so we had a video camera beginning in 1978, and my dad would set the camera up and point it at us, my sister and I, as we opened our gifts and stuff, so that you can literally see the moment where I get my stocking from Santa on Christmas morning, dump it out, and all those figures you see in this picture come tumbling out, and I name them one by one as a little 5-year-old Star Wars junkie, So if that's your bag and you like seeing old home movies and stuff like that, I'll add a link to that on the Patreon site. So, that's I think that's it. I'm trying to reach old Yoda here. Is that everything, Yoda? Did we miss anything? No, I think we got it all. So I hope everybody has been watching and enjoying The Mandalorian. It's been one of the definitely gives me those nostalgic feelings. I watched episodes 7, 8, and 9, and they're okay. And then a lot of stuff like that just doesn't give me that spark like the old Star Wars stuff did. But The Mandalorian has been pretty good. I've really been enjoying that. So anyway, I wanted to say to all of you guys, I hope that you have a very happy holiday season. I hope you get to spend time with your family. I know this whole year has sucked. I hope that you've got been able to stay in contact with your family and either see them or hopefully be with them in some way. I know that we're doing some stuff with my dad over the holidays, but we've got this system that's been working for us where everybody is, not everybody. He's actually out in the he'll be out in the workshop. I'll be out there with him. We're going to set up quick cam or not quick cams. That just dated me. Either FaceTime or Zoom or something, so everybody inside the house can see him. And so we're working some stuff, and it's not normal, but hopefully this is just the only year that we have to do that, you know. And so anyway, I hope that you and your family have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you have a great Christmas or whatever. If you celebrate Hanukkah or anything else I'm leaving out, you know, I hope that you are just happy and content and healthy and all those great things. And I got to tell you that the past 6 months have been a blast. There are many times where I struggle to come up with a podcast topic or a Rando Rob topic and all these things. And so far, by the skin of my teeth, it has all worked out. So, but it has really helped me get through the past 6 months. And I hope that you've enjoyed the past 6 months. I'm looking forward to continuing the streak in 2021. So, to all you guys, have a safe, great holiday season, and I will see you. Gosh, I was going to say 2021, but next Sunday will still be the 27th, will still be 2020, so we'll do one more episode in 2020. But I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys next weekend.